Good evening, everyone. It is a true privilege to stand before you today at a moment that reflects not just a milestone, but the spirit, resilience, and ambition of an extraordinary institution, Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone. A very warm welcome to our Honorable Chairman, Gautam Bhai, Karan Bhai, and the Adani family. And also a very special welcome to our Samriddhi partners who have contributed to achieve this milestone. I would also like to recognize the presence of our terminal heads, our shift managers, and colleagues who have traveled from across our network to be here with us. You represent the true operating core of APSEZ. You are the minds and bodies who make things happen day in and day out. Events like this are often seen as milestones, but for me, this evening is really about APSEZ people, because behind every vessel that we handle, every operation that we manage, and every system that we implement, there is a hardworking team, there is a considered judgment, and there is invaluable experience. And above all, there is a commitment which makes us different than our peers. What makes APSEZ special is not just the scale what we do, it is the consistency which it gets done. Across geographies, across ports, across logistics, across marines, across ships, we manage the world-class standard operations. And that is not something that can be designed in the boardroom. It is built on the ground by all of you, by each one of you, day by day, night by night. To all our ports, on the berth, in the yard, in control rooms, high up in cranes, in marine operations, out at sea, day and night, thank you. To our planners, engineers, maintenance engineers, logistic professionals, marine operators, thank you. To all the service function, support functions, to make us achieve this milestone, a big thank you. You are the reason why APSEZ exists. I also want to say this very clearly. In an organization like ours, it is easy to talk about assets, easy to talk about technology, it is easy to talk about infrastructure, but what truly makes us distinctive is our people. Our people have made a culture where responsibility is taken seriously, a culture where problems are solved and not passed on, a culture where execution matters. And as we look ahead, this becomes even more important. The next phase of APSEZ will not just be growing bigger, it will be about how we can become sharper, faster, and more integrated. It will be about how we innovate, how we use technology, and how we simplify processes, and how we empower people. I can promise you all that is a great deal to be excited about. We are building capabilities, we are expanding and strengthening our global footprints, and we are preparing ourselves for the opportunities right from the white paper. But through all of this, one thing will remain constant, our belief that people will continue to be the center of everything we do. That belief has brought us so far, and it will take us much further. On that note, it is my honor to invite a leader who is truly one in billion, a man like no other, a man whose leadership has shaped not only APSEZ, but much of India's infrastructure story, an entrepreneur who defines our post-independent generation, and an unmatched visionary who comes along only once in the lifetime of a nation. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming our chairman, Shri Gautam Adani, to deliver his address. Gautam bhai, please.
My dear colleagues, Namaskar. Good evening to all of you. It is often said that an explorer is shaped by the path he undertakes, just as the path awaits an explorer worthy of it. I have long believed that there are no final destinations in the life of an explorer. There are only moments of pause when you look back with wonder at the distance you have traveled, and then find within yourself the strength to begin again. Today is one such pause, a rare moment to look back, to absorb the magnitude of what we have built, and to reflect on the extraordinary achievements of Apsez crossing 500 million tons of cargo. But achievements of this scale are never just about numbers. They are about legacy. Numbers measure performance. Legacy measures something deeper. It measures the audacity of vision, the endurance of belief, and the courage to target what most would not even dare imagine. In every business across the Adani Group, we hit targets. We break records. We redefine industries. But today is different because the APSEZ journey for me is deeply personal. And as I look back at the long road behind us, I ask myself the inevitable question: how did we come this far? My dear colleagues, great organizations are built twice. First in the mind, through hope, through self-belief, through convictions. And second, in the real world, where dreams are constructed moment by moment, brick by brick, hand by hand. Therefore, milestones such as the one we celebrate today can never be measured in business terms alone. They are about our people, about those who decided to believe in me, to walk with me, and to build with me. They are about our memories of struggles, of victories, of setbacks, all of which came to define the Adani spirit. They are about our stories, hidden in years of sacrifice. This never appeared in the news headlines. But for me, these were the true headlines of the Adani saga. Mundra, my dear Adanians, gave our vision. It is first physical form. It is in Mundra that our belief became reality. Courage became commitment. Convictions became concrete. And for me, as the founder of this group, this is a deeply humbling moment. Because somewhere on the journey to 500 million tons, this milestone stopped being about any one individual. It became a tribute to all of you, the men and women of Apsez, who turned a bold dream and a daring journey into a living legacy. I still clearly remember many trips driving overnight in an old Contessa car from Ahmedabad to Mundra with Malabai besides me. In the 1990s, there were really no roads to Mundra. And that was bad enough. But even more problematic was a nervous Malabai next to me singing songs to keep me awake. Now keep in mind, Malai's intentions were good, but even friendship has its own limits. But it worked, because Malai's singing voice is designed to keep humans awake. On a more serious note, even I am amazed that we did it. Because no one in their right mind would have driven through the night to a place that at the time looked less like the future of ports and Indian logistics, and more like a giant, endless marshland at the western border of India. And yet, perhaps, that was our greatest advantage. We were in our late 20s, and our optimisms had not yet learned the discipline of risk. At that age, you do not fully understand the meaning of failure. And sometimes that is exactly what gives you the courage to attempt what others would dismiss as impossible. वो लंबे रास्ते, वो रातें, वो यार का साथ, वो लंबे रास्ते, वो रातें, वो यार का साथ, अंधेरों में भी थमी नहीं हमारे सपनों की बात, थक कर रुकना तो हमारी फितरत में न था, थक कर रुकना तो हमारी फितरत में न था, बस दिल में एक ही जिद थी, मुकद्दर बदलना था. And in those moments of doubts, Malay would do what no management consultant or motivational speaker could ever have done better. He would sing the title song from one of the greatest films of my generations. रोते हुए आते हैं सब, हंसता हुआ जो जाएगा, वो मुकद्दर का सिकंदर जाने मन कहलाएगा. Somehow, in the middle of that vast emptiness, the philosophy of a song celebrating Alexander the Great became our own private anthem. And perhaps, without even fully realizing it, this gave voice to something deep within us, the stubborn belief that if destiny does not come to you on its own, then you must go out and build it yourself. Because the truth about all great institutions ever built is this: you do not begin because the future is fully visible. You begin because your convictions is stronger than your doubt. That, my friends, is the story of Mundra. Mundra was the spark. This spark became the nucleus of Apsez. Apsez became the nucleus of the Adani Group, and the Adani Group became the nucleus for Indian infrastructures. And from the source of India, the idea then scaled to Ajira, to Dahej, to Kandla, to Dhamra, to Krishnapatnam, to Gangavaram, to Kattupalli, to Ennore, to Karaikal, to Vizhinjam, and then beyond India's shores to Australia, Israel, Sri Lanka, Tanzania. What we built is not a collection of assets. It is a living network, 19 ports and terminals, one systems, one operating philosophy, one overriding purpose of nation building. And like the nervous systems of our rising nations, each node strengthens the next. Each connections multiplies the value of another. Each expansion makes the whole system more resilient, more intelligent, and more alive. And the greatest ability we developed was not how to build ports. It was how to build flow. Flow of cargo, flow of connectivity, flow of industry, flow of confidence, flow of national momentum. And as I look back on our journey, I'm struck by two very different phases of growth. It took us 16 years to reach our first 100 million metric tons. But from that point, we went from 100 million tons to 500 million tons in just the next 12 years. That kind of accelerations does not happen by chance. It takes leaderships, it takes endurance, and for that, a very special share of the credit must go to Karan. I'm often told that appreciations does not come easily from me, especially when it comes to my sons. But today is one of those rare moments when I, as a father, can say with convictions, Karan, you have made me truly proud. But my dear colleagues, somewhere along this journey, another realization became just as important for me. As the network expanded, it became clear that this was no longer about one founder, one command center, or one individual's force of will. No institutions of such scale can be built this way. No network this vast can run on central instructions alone. The real magic was happening elsewhere. It was happening on the berth. It was happening in the yard. It was happening on the rail siding. It was happening in the marine channel. It was all happening at the last mile. Year after year, month after month, day after day, shift after shift, hour after hour. That is how these institutions was actually being built. And over time, along with our expansions, one truth became even more evident. Great infrastructure companies are not managed from a distant center. It is brought alive by people closest to reality, by people who see the problem before the dashboard does, by people who act before delay becomes disruptions, by people whose experience keeps systems functioning. Ultimately, it is human effort at a last mile that allows infrastructures to function. That is why our 500 million tons milestone must be spoken in the language of dignity for those who execute the last mile. The crane operators who move with a precision under the constant pressures of productivity and safety. The marine teams who keep vessels, tides, channels, and scheduled, aligned. The planner and logistic teams who manage complexity across 100 moving variables. The maintenance team whose expertise prevent failure before failure ever appears. और सबसे बढ़कर उन श्रमिक भाइयों का जो अपने घर से हजारों किलोमीटर दूर आकर काम करते हैं, जो महीनों तक साइट के कैंप में रहकर अपने बच्चों का बचपन दूर से ही गुजरते देखते हैं, लेकिन हर महीने घर पैसा भेजकर अपने परिवार के चेहरे पर मुस्कान बनाए रखते हैं. Let us never forget, this person is not some invisible line item buried in a budget. He is part of the foundations on which all of this stands. It is his labor, his discipline, and his sacrifice that make today's celebration possible and give us the confidence to build for tomorrow. अभी तो बस जमीन नापी है हौसलों का आसमान बाकी है। अभी तो बस जमीन नापी है, हौसलों का आसमान बाकी है। तुम्हारी बाजुओं के दम पर कहीं और बड़े इम्तिहान बाकी है। ये 500 मिलियन टन की सिद्धि अपने श्रमिकों के नाम करता हूँ। ये 500 मिलियन टन की सिद्धि अपने श्रमिकों के नाम करता हूँ। तुम्हारे पसीने की हर बूंद को झुककर प्रणाम करता हूँ। And so, my dear colleagues, if people closest to reality are the ones who create the magic, then our duty is to build an institutions worthy of them. And institutions that pushes ownership to the point of action. And institutions where bureaucracies does not suffocate initiatives, and institutions where respect is a daily operating principle. That is how our systems will scale, not by increasing control from the top, but by increasing judgment, capability, and ownerships close to the ground. And as many of you know, across all our businesses, we are redesigning the way we organize ourselves. We are moving towards a three-layer structure to flatten hierarchy and empower the front line. Let me clearly say that this is not about cost reductions. This is about empowerment. The organizations that will win in the future will not be the ones with the tallest hierarchies. They will be the ones with the fastest reflexes. And that can only happen when decision-making moves closer to the point of actions. That is how low-friction organizations are built. Not by forcing compliance across multiple layers, but by creating a culture of empowerment where accountability is embraced with a pride. And the same philosophy must extend beyond our people to our partners. Because as we flatten our organization, we must deepen the quality of the ecosystems around us and treat our partners with the same dignity that we treat our own teams. In the long run, the strongest enterprises are never built by weakening their partners. When our partners are financially healthy, they bring commitment, resilience, and confidence into the systems. They invest better. They execute better. They stand stronger in a difficult times. And when that happens, we create a chain of mutual dependence that strengthens everyone. This must become our group's new operating philosophy. A philosophy where velocity comes from empowerment, stability comes from dignity, and long-term strength comes from relationships of a mutual prosperity. And APSEZ is already showing the way. Under the leadership of Karan and Ashwini Gupta, these transformations has begun to take real shape, and that should make all of us proud. Because it shows that APSEZ is not just performing in the present, it is a preparing to lead in the future. My dear Adanians, talking about the future, India is entering an era in which logistic capacity will become a strategic power. That is why our ambitions for the next 5 years is not just bold, it is essential. As I said before, our first 100 million tons took 16 years. Thereafter, the second 100 million came in just 5. The third is only 3. And the fourth and fifth 100 million tons were added in less than 2 years each. What this shows is that once vision and executions begin to align, momentum starts to compound. And that compounding is now defining our journey. A journey where we are firmly on track to reach a staggering 1 billion tons by 2030. And our logistics operations and marine services will grow even faster, expanding 5-fold over the same period. This is ambition at an extraordinary scale, and no one is better equipped than us to make it real. My dear colleagues, as I close, let me return to where I began. I said at the start that an explorer has no final destinations, only rare moments of pause. When he looks back in wonder at how far he has come, and then finds within himself the convictions and drive to begin again. So let this evening not be remembered only as the moment we celebrated 500 million tons. Let it be remembered as the moment we paused to renew our beliefs and set our sights on the next horizon. 1 billion ton by 2030. That is now our missions. हमने मुंद्रा की लहरों से सीखा किनारों पर ठहरना क्या। हमने मुंद्रा की लहरों से सीखा किनारों पर ठहरना क्या। निकल पड़े उस राह पर जहाँ लक्ष्य है आसमां। रुकना हमारी फितरत नहीं, उठना हमारी पहचान है। रुकना हमारी फितरत नहीं, उठना हमारी पहचान है। एक शिखर के बाद दूसरे की तलाश में यही अदानी की उड़ान है। And that is who we are. Arrival is never the end. It is the signal to begin the journey again. The best of APSZ is still ahead of us. The best of the Adani Group is still ahead of us. And the best of India is still ahead of her. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Join us for photograph with Chairman and Karan Bhai, please. And because we have to go to the ground floor, I would request that rest can proceed to the ground floor for cake cutting and Karan Bhai's speech. Thank you.